doing the Sunday show, so I can say the F word here and can also say the P word, which is podcast. Yes. We have a podcast available, by the way, kids, on iHeartRadio, and also the Jiggy Jaguar Experience is available all over the damn place. As my good close personal longtime friend Frank Catola would say, the web is lousy with my content. So Brenda, you are fashionable with the whole. If you're watching us on the old bit shoots or the YouTubes or the Rumbles or in these places, I like the little. Would that be considered a scarf? What is the gimmick around your neck there?
And the earrings. Well,
and the earrings.
I didn't have any jewelry, or sometimes jewelry bugs me right here. So a scarf is kind of nice.
Look at that.
I thought I'd be stylish for you. I see that we kind of like style. You like style. Look at your shirt.
I like style, but what is interesting about me is that I have my own style, and my girlfriend / wife / fiance / whatever the hell she is currently, she doesn't like any of it. Doesn't like any of it. And our next guest, I think, is joining us a little early. Or maybe our next guest is calling us from the police station, is what it looks like. I'm going to be getting arrested live on my own show. I've been sued before on my own show. I've never been arrested.
Accepting our call. I see it.
I don't know what is going on here. It is the craziest thing in the world. Here's what we'll do. We will mute that individual so I can get rid of the old airplane noise, and I will get back to our guest here in just a few moments. But I've got our other guest with us. So Brenda, talk to us a little bit about your music. You've got a new single out there, all these various things. Talk to us a little bit about the latest with you.
Thank you. I've got a new song called The Bitter End, and just released this summer. I took some notes, and just to make sure that I can cover everything.
You came prepared, baby. That is awesome. That is awesome. Look at that.
I'm kidding.
You know, I have a cousin who wears glasses, and she doesn't have lenses in the glasses. She just wears glasses. And I'm like, what in the world is the no lenses for? And she's like, it's fashionable. But
that's right. These do have some, though. There's some strength to these. So the song The Bitter End, I released it this summer in July, and already it's got so much really good stuff happening.
Okay.
And
that's awesome.
I know it would do. But, that's the way I am with music anyway. I put something out and I think, well, it might be all right. And then so I always
it might be all right. I kind of have that perception when I go out and do interviews. Hell, we might have did all right. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, and it is doing all right because I'm excited to announce that the Recording Academy has accepted it for consideration in the 67th Grammy Awards. But there's a couple of processes to that. Like, it's nice to be excited to be part of it. But if it makes the next round, then it's really a nomination because then the awards are in February in Los Angeles, and then you can count yourself in. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'm really just pleased to be on the list. I mean, that's not an easy thing to get. You got to be a member. You got to, get a lot of friends in the business and the voting members to really like what you're doing. And you present that to them via, your links and where they can listen to you and consider you. So that's why it's called the FYC, for your consideration. And so The Bitter End is one of the songs that's being considered. And the other one is a Christmas song, Make Christmas Last Forever. And I'm just excited about that, too. It was like, when you submit a holiday song, you're competing with people like Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
That's huge, Of course, she had her Christmas song Forever now, and that's still like the #1 holiday song on the radio. So I'm glad to be on the list. It's
That's
just
awesome.
a real pleasure.
That's awesome. Well, I think it's kind of hilarious that you brought up the whole thing earlier about, well, once you get on the list, then you got to get all these people together, and then you got to do all this stuff. You know, the other day I was I was a passenger in a vehicle taking two teenagers somewhere, and they were breaking down in the back seat about voting for homecoming king and queen. And they were debating about how the one person that would probably win the homecoming queen would be this chick that is in band, because she'll get all the band people to vote for her. Yeah. And so when you brought up the thing about, well, once you get this nomination, you got to get all these goddamn people to vote for you. So it's just...
It's how much pull you got.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I did well with and was the ISSA awards. Those were in Atlanta, and I won an award, and that was because my fans voted. And when you have that and you got people all over, wow, that like you and like what you're doing. And most of them were through Facebook. I got such a great following.
The Facebook. That's right.
Loyal people there. I have people from my hometown in Canada. And I'm just really happy about that. So, they made me win. I mean, well, they took me.
You literally in the last 2 sentences there, covered everything you made it. Whether you knew that you were doing it on purpose or not. You made a comment about it being the fans. Which, if anybody's been paying attention the last couple weeks, that has become a term on this show. It's all about the fans. It's for the fans. And then you made a comment about being from Canada, which is a Ross Long thing. Canada, anytime anybody mentions anything about Canada on the show, and we have Ross Long involved, Ross Long will always go, Canada! So, you've hit all the great points, my friend. Well, let's talk about this single, The Bitter End. Tell me a little bit about it and how you wrote it, and just give us all the details on this thing.
Yeah, for sure. So it all started, I started writing the song in 2019, and I was going to New York City to perform at The Bitter End. It's an iconic nightclub in Manhattan, in Greenwich Village. And I had songs that I could have performed, but I wanted something brand new. And I wasn't trying to, think of, I want people on my side. I'm going to write a song called The Bitter End. But I had been stewing around with these lyrics for a long time, but I didn't have a title for the song. So I thought, wow, maybe I should just do something called The Bitter End. And
That's awesome.
Some guy told me in a bar one time when I was playing these little clubs and stuff, he said, it's too bad that you're married. He says, because you're like a beautiful grape. But he says, you're dying on the vine because you're trapped in some relationship that you're probably not happy. And I looked at him and I said, well, I like what you said, but I said, I am very happy. I've been married forever. Yeah. And so that ended that. But that particular line, dying on the vine, I thought, wow, I like that. I'm going to keep that and use that somewhere. So that's where it came in with this song. So there's so much to writing a song. Sometimes in your head, you go back on things and you say, that sounded good. Does it fit with this? Maybe not. But that forever stayed in there, stayed in my brain. And I thought, I'm going to write that. And I'm going to call it like grapes that go bitter and blah, blah, blah. The line is in there. It's like dying on the vine, the bitter end. It's like right away. If you listen to the first verse, that's where you hear that line. So then in the chorus, the bitter end, it goes on. You should play it.
and that's the thing. We're going to play it here in a few moments. Brenda Best with us today. She joins us live here in our broadcast. Before we go to the song, How do we find you on social media, the websites, all these things?
Yeah. So my website is brendabest.net.
Okay.
And there's links there to Spotify. I don't like Spotify because they don't pay writers like me very well.
Yes.
You know the whole story.
I don't think they pay a lot of people very well. I try to stay the hell away from Spotify as much as humanly possible, but
But I like when people go on Apple Music or Apple iTunes, same thing, and on YouTube. You know, if people are not connected with all that, they can always go listen to things for free on YouTube. And I have
fantastic. Fantastic. Well, let's do this. I don't want to run out of time before playing the song, so I'm going to put you on a brief hold. We're going to play in the bitter end. It's the latest single. And it is our guest, Brenda Best, and she joins us here on our big program. And you're joining us here on the Jiggy Jaguar Experience on old Facebook. We'll see if the song plays.
Held a grudge for centuries, bottled deep inside, like sediments in a box of Riesling. There's bitterness that lies, nothing left but broken dreams, with nowhere left to fly. Toxic emotions left us dying on the vine. The bitter end, bitter end. Love is finally over, it's a bitter end. The bitter end, bitter end. Love is finally ended, it's the bitter end. Obscure reality don't match up with real time. Couldn't see the warnings, guess love is blind. Like an addiction, still burning with desire. There's no rekindling flames when only one feeds the fire. The bitter end, bitter end. Love is finally over, it's a bitter end. The bitter end, bitter end. Love is finally ended, it's the bitter end. We started out so sweet, has soured over time. There's no saving grace when love's not genuine. The bitter end, bitter end. Love is finally over, it's a bitter end. It's a bitter end. The bitter end. Love is finally ended. It's a bitter end.
That That is the bitter end. That is Brenda Best. We are going to go back to the Skip Skype, the old Skype-a-rooney, and we have got Brenda Best with us. That is her track. So tell me a little bit about the reception you've gotten on that track so far.
A lot, yeah. I mean, it's been good. I think that I couldn't tell you numbers, but because they send that to me like after about 6 months or so, and then you probably talk to management, Razor G.
Yes,
he knows
indeed.
all the numbers, so we'll get a number from him, and I can send you that later on. Right? You know, I'd love to talk with you forever because we're so interesting together. It's an easy conversation with you. I love it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's Brenda Best. She's with us today here on our broadcast. The latest single is The Better End, and she's with us today here on our big program. So we were supposed to have a guy join us here about 30 after by the name of Skit. Some random guy that I met on a talk show somewhere. But he apparently cannot do the interview today because he has to have everything completely perfect. And one of the things that is going on is apparently upstairs, someone is vacuuming hardwood floors. So he is not allowed to be on the show because someone is doing their vacuuming. So so we're going to spend a little bit of extra time with Brenda Best here on our big program. So talk to us a little bit about some of your musical heroes and, inspiration, things like that.
Yeah, I always like bands, even though here I am, this woman who sings alone all the time, or I sing with a band, but when I write or else when I'm out there and recording or performing, I've done a lot of solo gigs. And I just feel like I'm a solo artist. I go by Brenda Best. There's never been like a real name attached to it, except for a short time there was a band that I used to call Brenda Best and the Bullets.
That's awesome. That's marketable, baby.
Yeah, it was. But in Nashville, it's so hard to keep these musicians as a band because we played these honky-tonks. And they get hired out by other people. So you're always getting these subs. And that's really tough. So I figured, well, I'll just go by my name. And whoever joins me on stage, well, they're part of the band. They're part of the Brenda Best thing.
That's awesome. So
that's what happened.
That's awesome.
And what was the main question?
Well, I was just looking to see who your musical heroes and inspirations and all that were.
Yeah, so even as that, I was not the kind to really go after like, a particular name like Cher or somebody. I don't want to be like Cher. I'd rather be like Don Henley.
There you go, baby. That's
my deal. That's what I'm talking about. I mean, even like I like really old music. I really do. I mean, I'm not going to say my age. But I like young stars, too, and they are inspiring. But I really like old stuff, and I like I love Alice Cooper.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So, in a way, I'm kind of rock and roll. But when I came to Nashville, the way to survive is playing country music. So I've always still had an edge, but I still present myself in a country type of way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We've got Brenda Best with us today. She joins us live here in our broadcast, so we are going to attempt to do something interesting here. I'm